All right, and we are live. Thanks everyone for joining the OpenJS Foundation's Open Office Hours. Today is the 21st of May in the year 2020. And today we have Alexander from the NoGS Internationalization Initiative is here to share about the work that is happening in the project and how the project functions overall, the underlying tech and process, and how folks can get involved. So I'll turn it over to you, Alexander. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for introductions. So yeah, my name is Alexander, but you can call me Alex. And yeah, I'm from IATN and initiative of NoGS, and yeah, today I hope to find a new newcomers to our process. So firstly, I want to describe how this process was before and what we changed for the last few months. So yeah, first of all, translation of we have 3 projects under Node.js with the content that should be translated. The first one is NoGS.org, is the main website that we have now. NoGS.org. Another one is Node.js documentation stuff, like API of Node.js. And third one is Node.js.dev, is new website that is currently in development. And oh no, it's okay. So it's a new website that is going to be a replacement for Node.js.org, and it's currently in development, but it also should be translated. So
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Alex. Would you happen to have another microphone option? I don't know if you're using your headphones or the computer or which, but if you could try switching it, it might be a little better.
Okay, probably. I haven't, but I can just change. Probably I can speak louder.
Yeah, that's probably fine. Just consistently loud. It kind of comes up and down a little bit, and it's a little tinny. But I think it'll be okay if you kind of maintain a good cadence.
Okay, sorry for these issues.
No worries.
So there are 3 projects: documentation, API docs, Node.js.org, and the new website Node.js.dev. So our initiative is going to find the best way how we can translate everything with our efforts that we have. It's like still open source. We cannot hire any professional translator, so it's like all translations doing by enthusiasts. So we should make this process as easier as possible. How it was before and how it works, how it still works for Node.js.org website is like a simple GitHub flow. We have folders for so we have simple folders with markdown files under folder called local, and here we have original folder and all other folders created by Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and just translated. All new translations or all fixes for translations doing by forking this repo, making changes directly in the file, and making pull request back to this repo, like as simple as possible. But it's not. It's really working. It's working great for some functional stuff, but it's really uncomfortable for content changes, especially for translations, because for translation we need to keep updated all translations, and it's really hard with current flow, because after we updated some sentence for original content, it should be updated for all locals, or at least it should be notified for all translators for each local. But it's almost impossible. I saw a few options in other projects like Gatsby. They're making a bot for these reasons, and it works, but it's still not very useful. So as decision, we decided to migrate to something specific for translators, some localization platform. And it's not my decision. It was a long discussion, I believe, for a few months, a year ago, of what is the best option for that. And here's a lot of platforms, a lot of options for that, but one of that is called Crowdin and is free for open source projects, and like is one of the main points why we decided to use Crowdin. And now we are migrated to Crowdin almost. Now migration is almost done. So let me just explain what we did for the last months. Is there was a problem with documentation translation. The synchronization. So Crowdin is giving to us integration process with GitHub. It works on Crowdin site, and we are never seen how it works, and we don't care about it. But we just need to configure one file called Crowdin YAML file Crowdin, and here's like integration. It's the same as other platforms like Travis, Circle CI, and other stuff. So we need to integrate this, but for half of a year, I believe, it was broken. And when I started working on this initiative, it was broken. And the first things that I did is fix this problem. And it was really hard because a lot of bureaucracy stuff should be done to give a new tokens, but it's really technical stuff. So never mind. Yeah, after some long discussions and after some time, we finally connected, and now everyone who would like to help with the documentation translation can join our project on Crowdin called NoGS. It's simply NoGS, and the link is here. You can find it by your own, or it also can be found here in README of IATN repo. So you can read contributing guide and find this link to this project. So what is the benefits of using Crowdin instead of GitHub PR flow? Is this platform especially for translators, for localization, and it's more comfortable, and that's why we have a lot of new newcomers, a lot of new translators that started translating for the last months instead of how before. Translators didn't like GitHub flow because it's required them to create GitHub account in case they are not technical guys, and it's common case that translators want to help, but they are not very technical. And Crowdin give us a solution. So they need just to create a Crowdin account and ask to be a translator for this. Then translator can open any of languages that they able to help and simply start translation. So what is the difference? It's almost the same as GitHub, but no. Crowdin give us a lot of stuff like version control, proofreading stuff, and they're also giving us pre-translating stuff with machine learning and with translation memory. Translation memory is data that can be shared between other files and between other projects under one organization. So we have one organization called NoGS, and we have three projects: NoGS.org, API docs, and NoGS.dev. And we can, for example, translate just one simple string in one project, and then it can be auto-translated in all other projects, and it's reduced count of user interruptions, like reduce the noise from translators. So yeah, another stuff is Crowdin can can use machine learning, and I believe we are going to do this because we have a lot of versions of Node.js, and here you can see the progress of translations. I believe we have almost done translations for version 6. No, it's not. Oh, it's hidden. Sorry, I can show you in another thing. Yeah. So what I say before, Crowdin gave us an ability to translate all duplicated strings, and for GitHub Flow we can do this, and that's why we have a huge benefit. For example, in our API docs project, we have 2 million words that duplicates, and you can imagine how lot of work it's required to do if you're going to do this manually, but Crowdin doing this for us for free, and it's really great stuff. Yeah, so that's why we migrated from GitHub Flow to Crowdin. Another stuff is how we so before it was GitHub Flow, GitHub PR Flow, and now we should migrate to Crowdin, but we should do this smoothly to not shock our current translators that already doing some translation stuff for us. And we decided to do this with two helper things. First one is both of them is still under development, but I believe it will be done for next week or so. So first one is we are going to use GitHub, sorry, not GitHub, Git hooks to show a warning message to translator if they are trying to do some manual translations, and like to not commit these files. And when translator faced with this, I can show there's an example how it should be. So yeah, something like that. When translators trying to change manually, it will show you cannot commit, and we are prevent some job, and then we are point translator to use to our contribution guides, and where he can find information about our current flow and about information about Crowdin stuff. Yeah, so that's what. And another one is we are going to add GitHub action to prevent to add additional message almost with the same content, like we are not applying manual translations. Please use Crowdin for each PR that created for content updates. As I said, it's going to be done for next week, I believe. I had a few crazy weeks and was really busy, so I didn't complete it, and we haven't a lot of other contributors for that, unfortunately, because everyone busy with this stuff with quarantine and COVID. So it's so sad, but yeah, this is life. But I believe for next week I will have a bit more time and I can complete with that. Also, Hosea did this great job with hooks, and I hope it will be merged soon. So yeah, I believe Hosea is here, so thank you, Hosea. Yeah, and I probably, I'm not sure that it's really a good idea to show how to create an account on Crowdin, because it's like dumb stuff to spend time. It's really good. If I would like to show how translation process looks now. So for example, I'm Russian native speaker and I can translate some, for example, version 13, and I want to translate a DONS markdown file. I click on that, I have a few options how I want to see it. I want to see originals or I want to see translated content, and I just click on the string. Here I have like fields to enter my translation, and this is not really good example. Probably another one. So here we have suggestions, translation memory suggestions. So this is translation memory is a stuff as this already translated content that's shared between all projects under an organization. And as I said, we can apply it automatically, but it's a bit tricky. So we do this, but we're doing this on a regular basis instead of doing this every time when new translations added, but to not make some, to not broke some translations that is in progress now. So yeah, it's like really simple for translator to make some changes, enter translation, and click save. And yeah, you have some identification. And then another person, another translator with higher experience that we give some proofreader rights, and he can approve or decline or comment some proposed translation to make it like to have two steps before it's going to be published to our master branch. So for example, here we have the same string, C++ add-ons, and it's translated, and I can click OK because I have a proofreader rights, and I actually have admin rights because I work in this configuration. But for example, I am proofreader, I can click approve. And after this string is approved, after that is going to be automatically pushed to our repo and with generated pull request. And this pull request will be checked by our team and just click approve or decline. In general, we are not bilinguals, and we believe that all translation stuff is handled by Crowdin. We are just checking some formatting stuff, and we have some tests that comparing original file structure with translation file structure. And if something fails, we probably can handle this. But in general, localization process is now separate from technical guys, and it's really great and is comfortable for everyone. So we are having, you can see this repo. This repo is contain docs content, and you can see repo for NoGS.org that is still on migration process. And here's a lot of noise from localization stuff. For example, if I filter these issues, you can see here 3 open pull requests and 187 closed pull requests related to translations. And it's really noisy, and it's after we if we dropped this flow, it will be more clean for technical team to support this website. So yeah, it's a main benefit for us. It's the main goal for internalization team. So I believe that's it. And yeah, a few words about Crowdin integration. It works fully automated. We configured everything. So after, as I said, after proofreader approved some string, we have a cron job that is synchronize these translations from Crowdin to GitHub and from GitHub to Crowdin. So once a day is going to create a new pull request to our repo. I can show you an example, I believe, here. Yeah. So it's creating a new pull request with all translations for all languages. And we just need to check if everything okay and merge it to our content, to our repo, and our content is updated. And the same thing is Crowdin grabbing our content, original content, to Crowdin platform on the daily basis. And if we have some updates for original content, it should be synchronized with Crowdin in 24 hours. And I think this is enough for for now. So yeah, this is basically it. And if you have any questions or you want to ask some specific stuff about how to start translations, welcome. I'm here, and I believe it's done.
Great, thank you, Alex. So if I can recap, a person who is interested in helping translations, and I'm sure that this is documented, but for the purpose of this video, they would need to create a Crowdin account, correct?
Yep.
Which is probably not a big deal. And then they can go in and go basically sentence by sentence in certain areas and translate them. And when you submit them, a reviewer reviews it in Crowdin.
Yep.
And then once that's approved, it also goes to GitHub.
It's going to GitHub, yeah, because we are hosting all content on GitHub. It's like,
and then so, but that step, there's a step there, and then there's also like a daily all updates coming to the actual website integration as well, correct?
After we are merged translations PR, if it's going to be automatically deployed to website.
Okay.
The tricky way with documentation that we currently have is documentation is not support any other languages, and it's showing only English. So you can translate documents, but it's not live on the website. And we are also working on this part. But I can't promise when it will be done.
Okay, so you can translate the documentation, but it currently won't show up on the website.
Yep, right.
Okay, but that's something the team is working on.
Yeah, we are already working on it, and I think we are. I don't want to make a big promises, but I think it's going to be done for next month or probably a bit more.
Okay, all right, great. And so to me, what I find interesting about internationalization is that there are sort of two different types of ways that you can contribute to the effort there. One is actually translating, and two is helping to support the process that underlies translation. Do you want to talk at all about that role? Is the team looking for more help in terms of the process that underlies the work?
Honestly, I'm not sure that I can say that we don't looking for some enthusiasts, but so everyone welcome to help us with the process. But it's not something like really. It's not something hard from technical perspective, and there's no any problems. Is like, I don't know how to explain this. So probably for developers who want to make some open source stuff and want to solve some technical issues, localization process of Node.js is not so complicated. And I would like to say probably want to contribute to Node.js.core, Node.js core. It's more interesting. But if you are interested in integration, and if you are interested in, if you have some thoughts about how translation process should be, welcome. We are really open for new ideas. We are really want to have some feedback about these updates, because it's a bit drastical changes for everyone. But as much as I know, translators are happy with this, and technical guys also happy. So if you have some ideas, or if you want to help with that, welcome. We are looking for talents.
Great, great. Yeah, I think that internationalization is interesting to a lot of folks, especially people outside of the US and maybe even Europe as well, because they can help with the actual translation, but also, you know, if there's any way that they can help with the underlying process, then that's, you know, I mean, Node Core can be a little intimidating, especially for new people. So I think easing into it by helping out in these sorts of initiatives is a great way for folks to start to get involved and then get exposed to other aspects and areas of the Node.js platform overall. So that's great. That's great. Anybody on the call have any questions?
Yeah, if I may. Hi.
Please.
I've seen TM and MT abbreviations. You mentioned that TM stands for translation memory. What MT means?
Machine translations. Yep.
Oh, is there anything else in the platform, in the crowding platform, to aid in the translation process?
What exactly do you mean? So
Any other mechanisms except TM and MT suggestions?
Manual translations. So you can translate a sentence per sentence, and you can pre-translate duplicate strings with translation memory, and you can translate everything with machine translation. I'm not really expert with crowding platform, but as it's everything that I know that we can use for Node.js project. So
I mean,
there's three options.
Let's say you have this TM feature. Do you happen to know if you can load another repository there and use that? Okay, so you can use multiple repositories as a translation memory source.
Yep, you can use a few translation memories from different projects, and also Crowdin provide you some global translation memory for like some universal words that can be used. You can apply a few translation memories for one project, or you can apply one translation memory for a few projects. So
interesting.
Cool, thanks. And how do you track the progress using the Crowdin platform reports, right?
Yes, Crowdin provided some statistic for us, and we have some idea how to give a thanks to our translators, like to use these reports and see who is the most active translators. Probably it should be some tweets like this translator is the most active for us. Thank you. I don't know. We're still thinking about it, but yeah, in general, we are tracking also activity by Crowdin, and it was our goal to make it separate, localization and technical side, and we are achieved.
Thanks. And the last one. So let's assume you have reached 100% for a certain file or for the whole translation, and there is an error, a mistake in the translation. Where do you track that? It goes to the GitHub issues, and then you somehow translate again?
Yeah. If we have 100% of translations and it's already live on the website, and if someone find a mistake, so they have two options. One option is to simply create an issue on GitHub, and our translation team, we have a teams for each language, and we can like ping a specific team. There are a bunch of translators, and probably they can handle this and fix by Crowdin. And another approach is to this person who find this mistake can create Crowdin account and simply fix this mistake without any issues. It's not so hard. We are welcome for any any help, any fixes, any translators. So
Got it.
it
Thank
can be
you.
done in two ways.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
I have a question for you. In your experience with this work, which language are you seeing most activity in, languages? And also, are there any that you were like surprised by? Like, you know, for example, my wife started learning Iroquois, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. What are you seeing in the work that's happening there?
So we have 3 projects, and we have 3 different situations. So let me just get. So here we have all languages per one page, and here we can find the most translated language. So it's not surprise; it's expected. The Spanish is most active, and it's for documentation. The Spanish is most active, and second one I believe is Russian.
I saw Italian. Italian's
oh yeah, Italian. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Italian is surprised. I think we can check the reports for us, and here we can have a list of all languages. So Spanish, Italian, and say Russian, and then Chinese.
Yeah.
So there's the top of languages. But another situation is for other projects. Oh, no. Yeah. Another situation is for NoGS.org, NoGS website. Yeah, it's some naming issues that we have because Crowdin doesn't support dot for project names, so decided to go with dashes. And most surprising stuff is Ukrainian language is the most translated for NoGS.org.
Yeah,
I believe this is because Crowdin is Ukrainian basis company, and they are invite Ukrainian translators, students from universities to give some practice to them. And it's like a collaboration. Students have practice, and Crowdin projects have translations. It's really great collaboration for everyone. And I believe that this is why Ukrainian is most translated, but I'm pretty sure that was for last months because before it was Spanish and Korean. And yeah. So yeah, it's most surprising stuff. Ukrainian is the top translated thing. So
that's interesting, though. I wonder if there are opportunities to do similar partnerships, for lack of a better term, with other, like, you know, foreign technical institutes or what have you, to help translate.
Yeah, it's like strategies that we are thinking of in our, I mean, in NoGS 89 initiative. We are thinking about this opportunity to invite as much as possible translators, and we are looking for ways how we can do this. And inviting students is one of the options that we are looking for, but unfortunately, this quarantine stuff is broke some plans and broke our time. So we are a bit frozen with that, but I think we are going back with this. So yeah.
Yeah. So we can take this offline, but you know, Node is a part of the OpenJS Foundation now. It was part of the Node Foundation before, but you know, the foundation itself probably could help in identifying perhaps universities or what have you. I guess my point is perhaps they can help in making some connections there and helping any sort of progress in those regards.
Yeah, I think it will be great. And also, yeah, I think we also can share our experience about how we start, how we localizing our content with other projects from OpenJS Foundation. There's a lot of projects that already have some content base that should be translated, and I think some of them looking for good tools. So probably we can help and collaborate with our
Yeah,
project.
and that does raise another good thing I'd like to bring up. For folks who are unaware, the OpenJS World event is happening in late June. I think the last week of June. It was formerly Node plus JS Interactive, but now that the merger is complete and we're moving forward as the OpenJS Foundation, the event was rebranded to OpenJS World. Traditionally, there is a collaborator summit that happens around that event and is happening again this year. As everyone can imagine, the event has gone virtual, and the same with the collaborator summit is also a virtual event now. And I bring this up partly, to promote the events and to get folks to the collaborator summit. But also, I don't know if the internationalization team has submitted any sessions for the collaborator summit. If they want to take advantage of that opportunity. And then also, one of the collaborator summit days is focused on efforts that benefit more than one project. And internationalization, as you just mentioned, is probably something that a number of projects are working on or considering. I'll have to look at the schedule and the submissions and see if anybody's on the team is already kind of working on that. But if not, we should definitely think about it. I think it would be great for the Node project, as well as perhaps some of the other projects in the foundation.
I'm not sure that somebody working on that, but I think we are ready to share our experience.
Yeah, I'd like that. So we can talk about that offline. That's one of the things I'll mention in Slack. And then another thing that came to mind too, I think that the idea of promoting folks who are active in the translation effort is a great idea. And not long ago, the Node.js Twitter account was handed over to the Node.js social team, which is a new community-run effort that was spearheaded by Tierney. And Tierney's the only person on the social team right now, but I'm gonna join the team, and I think we hope that in the future more folks will be involved. But one of the things we're looking at is an integration called Twitter Together, and it's you can create tweets using pull requests. And so when your pull request is merged, it tweets the tweet content. It's like a configuration file, YAML format or something. But anyway, all that is to say, there could potentially be even an automated process where at the end of the day, the Crowdin tool or whatever integration you have collects the translators, automates a PR into the Node.js Twitter repo, and then we approve it in the morning and it goes out and thanks the people from the previous day or the previous week or what have you. So I can imagine that process being somewhat automated. That's something we can look into as well.
Sounds interesting. Probably I can help with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. So that
NoGS Twitter, do we have this repo, or it's like some?
The repo, I think, may be created, but is still maybe private until I think we have an issue or two that we're working through, and then it'll be made public from there, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. But I think that it exists. I think that Tierney's been trying it out in his own personal repo, on his own personal Twitter, which a few tweets went out on his personal Twitter account, which I think obviously he approved. But it's an interesting integration. I think it could be valuable to this effort.
Yeah, I think too.
Yeah, cool. So
Yeah,
that's another
because-
thing we could talk about. Cool. Any other questions from folks? Anyone else on the call want to, questions, comments, thoughts, anything that anyone else wants to add?
Main question: Do you ready to join to translation initiative?
Yeah, let's hope so. And then, like I said too, hopefully this video lives on. Salo's in the chat on the YouTube. He says, great work, really cool. But yeah, hopefully this video lives on and we can point folks to it as well. You may even want to add a link to the getting started that here's a video that kind of goes over some of the efforts.
Yeah, sure.
We can go from there. Cool. Well, yeah, if there are no any other questions or anything, we could wrap up a few minutes early. I really appreciate your time, Alexander and Alex, and going through this, and we'll talk more offline about some of those ideas.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you too. Thank you for initiate. Oh, sorry. Thank you for invite.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yeah. And thanks. Go ahead.
Nice
Sorry
to make in this. Nice to make in this intro for everyone, and I believe it helps us to find the new translators and new enthusiasts. So yeah, thank you for this chance.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you. Thanks to everyone for joining, and we'll call it a wrap. Thanks. Cheers.
Yeah. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.